Man, I haven't heard that intro in forever.
This is so exciting.
It's been a long time. Has it been a year? Has it been a year and a half? How long has it been?
I actually don't know. I don't know. I think it's been maybe 2 years, Ethan.
No
I
way!
don't know. I don't
Two
know. A year and a
years?
half, maybe. It's been around that time because I'm trying to think of timelines and I don't know. Honestly, since the pandemic, everything has felt like I don't know time. I've lost concept of time, so I don't really know. It's so good to see your face, and it's so
It's
good to
good to see
be
your face
back
too.
for this. So I don't know. Welcome to the pickup line, guys. I'm Hannah.
I'm Ethan.
So
I
welcome
actually
back.
almost, for a split second, I almost said my real name. That
You
almost came right out of my
hugged
mouth.
yourself so many times. Honestly, it's happened.
Oh, it
But well,
has.
but anyway. So this is going to be our final episode because I guess we just kind of stopped doing this weekly and life just kind of happened. I mean,
Hmm.
as it does, and that's okay. But
It's sad
I
because it was
get
my
yeah.
favorite show,
Well, I'll come back anytime you'll have me.
and there's no one that can compare to the uh, not the charisma. What's the word I'm looking for? The chemistry you and I have is
Mm.
irreplaceable.
My gosh, and I'm seeing some familiar people in the chat already. I'm seeing some people who I have made friends with since like since our last episode. I have
Mhm.
some friends, a friend who's joined who I'm obsessed with. Hi, I just want to say hi to you. And thank you for being here. But anyway, I'm just kind of I don't know. I feel so rusty. It's just weird. I feel like I'm just babbling.
No,
Um
you're not. You're being yourself. I'm rusty too. I just started streaming again about a month ago, so
that's
I am like
wild.
all out of sorts.
Yeah, I don't know. I just started I guess like we should just like get into like where we've been since the last episode. I've kind of just been I don't know. So much has changed, so I've just been kind of focusing on my little life, I guess. And I know you've been super busy just with everything that's been going on with you. I mean, do you want to share anything about just I've watched a couple of your update videos. I know you've had a really rough go, like, since we last have done one of these, but I mean, it's just good to see your face and that, like, you're existing. I really, really am happy to see you. I can't express that enough.
Thank you, Hannah. I wish I could see you in person and give you a hug. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, you're so far away, which leads into my question of what the hell's going on with you?
Yeah. So, I guess 2 years ago, almost three. I've lost track of time. For the past couple years, I've been living in Mexico. I moved away from Austin, Texas, moved back to California for a little bit, and then ended up in Mexico. That's kind of been a dream of mine since I was a little girl. I've been visiting the same city since I was four, and then I ended up being able to make the move here. And then I got engaged to a man who is from here. So I am not leaving.
How long have you been engaged for?
We have been engaged since June.
Okay.
And everyone had immediately started asking, when's the wedding going to be? And I said, can we actually not talk about it until the new year? Let's not plan anything until after the new year. I don't want to. I just want to enjoy being engaged. And he was down for that too, because as soon as we tried to start planning stuff, we instantly were like, oh, this is actually a lot of stress. So let's just enjoy this. And so that's kind of been where we're at. But it's the new year, and my mother's coming down to help me plan. I mean, Carlos is of course involved. That's his name. Uh, but yeah, we're gonna start nailing down details. So keep your
Are
eye on
you
the
good at
mail.
wedding planning? Because I would be terrible.
Oh,
Like,
I'm terrified. I almost told her, actually, I have told her, and I don't know how much I mean this, but I said, I just want to pick the dress and I'll just like show up if that's okay, because she loves planning. She loves planning events. She planned her own, like, and did all the cooking for her second wedding with my father. She did the whole thing. But no, I really trust her in her opinion. I mean, you guys who have watched the show have met my mother. So I mean, we've had a lot of wonderful guests on here, and that includes my mother. And so she'll be helping me plan the wedding. Of course, Carlos is I'm gonna get his yay or nay on things, but he cares, but he's a dude, you know.
I totally get that.
I said, "What do you want your suit to look like?" He was like, I don't know, gray. Okay, cool. No, but I'm looking forward to it. He's a wonderful person. He's wonderful. I mean, so much has changed, and I've been through a lot over the past decade, I guess. And I feel like I'm finally at a place where I'm not in survival mode, and I've just been like really enjoying this person and this life that we're building, and all the choices that I've made leading up to this, I would do it all over again.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good. So, oh God, what else? I decided like fairly recently, I think I'm going to go back to school and get a degree, because that's something I've been wanting to, pardon?
In what? What do you want your degree in?
English. I don't know. It's weird. I turned 30. 131 now, but since like we last did a show, I turned 30. God, I feel like I'm just yapping about myself. I want to get
Keep talking, Hannah.
Okay,
this is what we do.
Since I've like gone in my 30s, it's weird. It's kind of like I'm circling back to like the person I always was at my core, and not like who I thought I was or was trying to be, or was, I don't know. It's just like you get swayed in so many weird directions in your 20s and stuff, and trying to figure stuff out. And then it's weird how turning 30, I'm like, I actually really don't care about like a lot of things I thought I did. And here's the things I've always cared about. And I don't know, I've always been a good writer, and I think I've kind of like abandoned that part of myself, and I want to like return back to that. And I've always thought I want to go back to school, and I always thought one day I'll do that. Oh, but it's too expensive. And I looked at my credits and I was like, oh, wait, I'm like halfway to a bachelor's. What the hell? Well, I should just do it. So, yeah, I guess that's the other stuff. I don't know.
So what I was going to say before I forget is, if I ever get married, and that's a big if, I have 2 rules. 1, okay, I get to pick the DJ, and 2, I don't care about the color of the tuxedos, but we have to have matching leather Converse. Those are the only 2 things I care about.
And you're not going to DJ your own wedding? Because you're a fantastic DJ. I got to witness that in person at Faithless Forum a couple years back, when I think we met prior to that, but then we got to reunite at Faithless Forum, and you DJ'd one of the like after parties. I guess it was like the final day party thing, and there was karaoke and music, and it was a freaking blast.
And I
got
so
to see
much
you
fun.
and Amit do Ice Ice Baby. And
dude, yeah, Amit just came running up on stage, and I was like, yeah, come on, let's go.
It was legendary. We have so many amazing memories from that on this show, on and off the air, that like relating to the show in terms of the people we've met and the people we've had on and the callers we've had. It's just been it's been a real blessing.
It's been a ride, that's for sure.
It's been
We've had some really good moments, some really good interviews, some great guests, some great conversations. With that, they're not going to be on the whole time, but let's bring on 2 of our guests right now. First of all, one is Amit, who, as you know, was one of our first callers and stuck with the show throughout the whole time. And the other is SR, who was our first call screener. So Amit and SR, how you guys doing?
Welcome, guys.
Hello.
I'm excited.
As I was telling you in the green room, it's just so good to see your faces, and it's so weird to be doing this, but I'm happy.
So I don't know if you remember, Hannah, like the first show we did together. You hadn't met me yet. You know, I was call screening, and honestly, the only interaction really that Ethan and I had before that was on a quick fucking video call for like 5 minutes. You know, I was in the middle of a shift at work. I was, somewhere in the break room, and Ethan was just like, "Hey, could you just hop on a call real quick?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," And he was like, "Well, I mean, you don't seem like a total psychopath, I think you could probably, call screen for us."
Someone's during one of our first shows, people called in and started yelling slurs. Can you please do a call screen?
About that.
I was traumatized. I was absolutely traumatized.
Right.
So.
Oh, God.
And so, I called in and just thinking like, man, I've been watching some of this like atheist shit for a few years now. And I've seen this guy, Ethan, and, I want to help out, and he took a chance and he was like, "Yeah, man, come on, help us." And I showed up that day for the show. And I just remember like, cause I think I hopped on for like 5 minutes at the end of that episode. And I think you said, you were like, "Hey, if you turn out to just be, a psychopath, we can always just cut you out of this episode and everything will be great. It'll be fine. Everything will be just fine." And I knew right then from both of you, I was just like, yeah, this is gonna work out, because that was my thought too. Was just
this could be really just weird.
Yeah, they might think I'm a fucking psycho. Like, why would I?
And you are, and we're so glad to have you.
Right.
Hannah, I don't know if you know this, but SR has been blowing up in the atheist community. He's been on Talk Heathen, Nonprofits, The Atheist Experience. Like, he is a top-notch atheist in the community.
Okay.
I don't know about all that.
Check you out. Well, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've contributed, and it was really, really, really just amazing to have you, because we really, really needed someone to be screening those calls, because I was no. So thank you so very much for helping us out.
Thank you, SR.
Oh, you guys are welcome. Honestly, it was because of this show specifically, honestly, that I have been able to do any of the cool things that I've gotten to do, since then. Because working behind the scenes here got me connected with a bunch of other people, and ended up to the point that, now I'm helping organize a conference in the middle of this year in Nashville, bringing a bunch of atheists and stuff. Some buddies and I just founded an organization, a new nonprofit. We got 501c3 status back in December.
Congratulations. You want to plug it? What's it called?
Secular Rising US.
Okay,
I'll grab a link and I'll throw it in the chat. We're connecting and supporting atheists, humanists, secular-minded people. We've got a bunch of different events that we're going to be putting on. We've got a bunch of different groups in the area that we're already partnering with. I'm excited for this year. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff. And to think that, 5 years ago was when I first reached out to Ethan.
Has it been 5 years?
Wow.
5 years, man.
I remember you reaching out.
5 years, man.
That long, dude.
It's gotta be 5 years, man. I've looked at the calendar. I know.
And I remember telling you, like, you said you didn't have a Facebook account, and I remember telling you, like, you gotta have a Facebook, dude.
That was literally where the name Secularity came from. Was because I reached out to you. And you were like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I would love for you to do this, man. We could really use some help." You kind of got to have a Facebook. And at that time, I was one of those weird people that didn't have any social media whatsoever. I hadn't been on anything, you know? And so like, I think like 2 or 3 hours went by after that call. And I sent you a message and I was like, "Hey man, is it weird if I just said I would like make a Facebook? I don't know what the process is for that now in 2020, but like if I do that, will that work? And you said something like, "Oh man, that would be so cool. I didn't want to ask you to do that because I thought that was weird." But then I decided, I was like, "Oh well, I gotta come up with a fucking name, you know?" And then Secular Rarity came from that, and then now I don't know. Here we are, I guess, 5 years later. It's amazing to think what has changed, but I don't want to make it
flies by.
Yeah, I don't want to make it just about me. Amit's got some cool stuff too.
That's what I was actually just going to suggest before we move on to Amit.
Very exciting things.
You know, he was one of our first callers. He called into us regularly, and then slowly but surely we became friends. I remember him asking advice, dating advice, and I was like, shit, am I even equipped enough to give dating advice? Like,
I don't know. We started a podcast about it, so that's something we always said, though. We are not experts. We just have a lot of really weird experience, you know.
So, Amit, why don't you tell us what's going on with you, especially the most important, exciting news? I don't think
he's going to gloss over that.
Yeah, so I think I called you guys for the first time in 2021, like maybe mid 2021 or early 2021. And since then, I attended Faithless Forum. I was afraid at that time of like literally turning into the main character of 40-Year-Old Virgin, because that's the joke everyone kept throwing at me. And since then, well, actually, just before Faithless Forum, I started dating someone, and that kept going, and it kept going. And then, 2 years into the relationship, I was like, hey, do you want to get married? And she said yes. And this December, well, technically in October of 2024, we got married. And we got married again in December 2024 because my parents missed it, and we had to do it in India.
Wow.
You are definitely married now, like, for sure.
You do it twice. Yeah, it's for sure.
I am now the most married person in this room because
hella married.
I got married once just with my friends. It was a tiny little ceremony. My friend wore a Pokemon outfit and he was out efficient. This was the ceremony for us because it was on Halloween and we wanted to do a costume wedding, and we wanted to be totally secular, no rules.
Right.
One of my friends showed up dressed like the Statue of Liberty. Another one showed up dressed like a dinosaur. We had a Kermit who brought tea. It was great. But then my parents and her parents insisted we needed an actual custom ceremony. So we went back to India and we got married once in Bangalore, which is where I'm from. And I don't know if you guys remember it, but I'm ex-Christian, so my family's Christian.
Yes.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, they wanted the whole Christian ceremony. And she's not really religious, but she is from a Hindu Jain family. And so her family wanted those ceremonies. So we ended up doing one in Bangalore, one in Mumbai. So that's 3.
Yeah. You're triple fucking married, man.
Holy crap.
Okay, so I have to say congratulations, and congratulations.
I heard that.
I'm so happy for you. Yeah, I mean, I remember one of your first call, or if not your first call, where you're saying, I don't really know how to talk to girls. I didn't think they are interested. I don't know how to get whatever. And now you've been married.
I still have no idea. Completely honest.
It worked. Whatever you
just
did
need
worked.
one. You just need one. And that's fabulous.
Nobody should ask me for advice. I was just weird and she liked me.
Well, look, this is what I said before we started, and I'm just going to stand by this. We have a 100% success ratio on this show, right? one for one. 100%, baby. So we got it. You know,
Yes.
that we're going out on the
While you're
winning
ahead.
streak. Right.
Well, I'm a very strong believer in like you don't need any kind of pickup artist type bullshit, any kind
Nope.
of manual, anything like that. If you are yourself and you've worked on yourself and you show up and like are ready to be a good partner, you can find a relationship. I mean, I hope, but that's kind of my rule of thumb. So I'm excited. I'm so excited for you and big congratulations.
Do you guys want to see photos?
Yes, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
Yeah,
if you're comfortable sharing them, yeah, sure.
Let's see.
I mean, I already snooped on Facebook. Or not on
Yeah.
Facebook, on Instagram. So
Don't let me forget, though. I have a comment to make on something. So make sure after we see these photos, don't let me forget.
Mhm.
Oh, let me put those on screen. Okay.
Oh,
Here we
and
go.
my friend
Ooh,
Hold Your
geez.
Ghost says 300. You got married 3 times, 300% success rate if you're a meat.
That's true, actually. That's so true.
She's so beautiful. You guys are such a beautiful couple.
You look so happy together. Like you both are glowing in that picture.
Yeah. So the way we did it was I told you, right? We had 2 weddings, but we had like a cocktail night for the Bangalore wedding and then the actual ceremony. So this was for the cocktail night. This is for the actual wedding. So you can see like kind of similar to what you'd expect in like a wedding that you'd have over here where she's wearing something almost white. I'm wearing a suit.
Mhm.
By the way,
That
my
looked really good.
yeah, my only requirement was my suit had to be tan because I really wanted to wear a tan suit and I've never owned one.
That was
You
a
look good
choice.
as
Good
shit,
suit.
man, in it. Like,
Sharp, dude.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then there's an equivalent in Mumbai where I got to wear like traditional Indian clothes. So I don't know if you can still see
I'm
it.
looking at
I don't know how familiar the rest of you are with this, but I've always wanted to go to an Indian wedding. From the videos I've seen, the spectacle they make, it seems like the funnest effing weddings on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
They do
wild.
it right.
And they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Like they're not cheap.
You
Yeah, ours was small and it was like 300 people attending.
Yeah, small.
I was gonna say
Small.
That's
small.
large for an American wedding.
Yeah, small.
Wow.
And that's us at the actual wedding. So yeah,
Oh
Oh,
my gosh,
God.
how beautiful.
yeah.
Well, we wish you
was
a
fun.
very, very happy life with your beautiful
That's
bride.
amazing.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you.
Anyways, guys, Hannah and I need to banter for a while and have some
Yeah.
more fun.
We gotta
But SR, thank you for being our call screener. It's been a pleasure. Amit,
Thank you,
thank you
guys.
for always calling into our show, giving us something to talk about. And thanks for being a good dude. Yeah, absolutely. Love you guys.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. It was great catching up.
Yeah. I'm gonna hang out more.
All
Yeah.
right, see you guys later.
Bye. Catch up soon. You guys are great.
Okay, so what I was gonna say, and I don't know, I don't think I've ever brought this up to you, but there is someone close to me who was struggling with dating. And it got to the point where they went 13 years without a girlfriend or a date.
Okay.
And it got so bad that they hired a sex worker.
Okay.
Now-
We've talked about this kind of
Oh,
thing
we did
before.
talk about it.
I don't know, but
Okay.
we talked about a specific person, but we talked about this scenario existing and
Oh, okay.
our thoughts
All right,
on
then
it,
I'm
but-
just repeating myself, so I'll shut the fuck up.
No. I wasn't no. We're here to review. I'm just saying it's not like a weird. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna reserve all my.
Well, you're on
assumption.
board with that, right? Like, I'm assuming you're on the same page as I am, and that's completely okay. Would you agree?
I don't see why not. I mean, I have always been for sex work. I think it should be legalized so it can therefore be
Same.
like regulated and protected. So if someone is going to pay for a service and then receive it in a consensual and safe way, then I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, agreed.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to talk about is how much this show has, I don't want to say changed my perspective. That's not necessarily the right word, but how much this show has matured me in a certain way. Like, do you remember when it was
When you
me, you?
couldn't say the word masturbate.
Well, it's not just that. Yes, that would be a prime
For
example.
one.
I could not say the word masturbate. And now I'll talk about anything sex related. Like, to give you an example, and I can't believe I'm saying this again, but on my last podcast, I came out as bi. I never in a million years thought I'd be able to do that.
Ethan!
Yeah.
Congrats, man!
Thanks. I owe some of that to you, though, because you've always pulled, most of the credit does go to my girlfriend, but I have to give you credit as well, because you've always pulled this side out of me. This, like, you poke the bear until I finally say sexual shit.
I mean, I think that, like, anyone can talk about, like, sexual stuff and, like, your comfortability can vary, but I mean, talking about it in a manner that, like, makes that you, like, can reflect on how you relate with that and what's important to you and what your values are. I mean, if you're just getting you to talk about it is one thing, but getting you to, like, reflect on that, I think that's, like, so huge and wonderful, and I'm really just excited for you and in that journey of self-discovery.
It is. It's exciting learning more about yourself, experimenting,
Absolutely.
having fun, taking chances. Like, the pickup line really did just open up a whole new world to me. And I don't remember if I messaged you this, but just a couple months ago, a memory popped up in my Facebook. And it was when I posted the status saying I was looking for a woman co-host, age X to X, to do a dating and sex related show. And that was the first time you and I get introduced because you commented on it.
Yeah.
And
I messaged my friends who are in the like YouTube community sphere. Hey, is this guy a weirdo? And they were like, no, he's super cool. I was like, okay, because I think that sounds fun. But I was like, hey, anyone know who's got the digs on Ethan Michael? And they're like, he's super cool, no complaints. And so, yeah, that's how that all happened, I guess. Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I remember there were several women who reached out to me. And then the second you were on camera with me, I was like, that's it. I'm done.
Because we did a trial show.
Yeah, we did do a trial show. I canceled the rest of the people I had lined up. I knew you were the one. I was like, nope, we click too fucking well. Like, this has to be her and I. And that's another reason I could I do another show on dating and relationships? Yes. But as far as I'm concerned, the pickup line is me and you only. And that will never change because you are honestly completely and 100% irreplaceable.
I just got, Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Really, truly, you've been the yin to my yang, and I just appreciate you so much.
You are my ADHD sister. That's what I always say. And it sucks we're so far apart. It makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, I want to take a trip to come to that part of the world in the near future. My fiance.
Well, you have a place to stay if you're going to.
Fiance has been wanting to. He's never been there. Neither have I, actually. And so you'd probably get to meet him, and that would be really exciting.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We can go on a double date. We'll show you Chicago's best pizza, Chicago's best beef. We'll take you around everywhere.
Yeah. I was thinking about the show as we were building up to this episode and watching some old clips. And one of my favorite ones is where okay, so hear me out. But I I said something and I made some kind of mic drop point, and I waited for you to kind of like go off of that and like have your 2 cents, and you kind of just went. And I said, Ethan, you weren't listening to me, were you? And you turned beet red, and you're like, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't at all. And because a lot of people don't know this, Ethan was running a lot behind the scenes while co-hosting with me for a very long time. And we had Secular Rarity, thank goodness, come in and start screening. And that was a huge help. But I mean, and then, yeah, we had some moderators in the chat. So that was fabulous. But yeah, you were running the show and co-hosting it, and that was a lot for you, but that was one of my favorite moments. But I also wanted to kind of reflect on some of the guests we've had on.
Sure.
I know that we've had Amit on in Secular Rarity for episodes in the past, and they're just fantastic. They have like such it's just the cool thing about each person we've had on has had such like a unique perspective and experience and background. And that's like the cool thing about relationships is like you can learn so much from other people, and that makes you kind of evaluate and look inward and like, okay, like I've had this kind of upbringing and this is what I think matters to me, but maybe this is going to develop or change or evolve. And I just think that's really cool. So Tangel Wright was one of my absolute favorites. One of my favorite episodes is when I think she came in and was on while I wasn't. I think I was doing something, and so she just stood in for me that week, and she was fabulous and was showing you a bunch of sex toys.
I remember that. Oh, that still makes me cringe, but I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Yes. So this guest in particular was part of the BDSM community, and so we had a episode on that and talking about the BDSM community, because that was something at the time you were not well versed in. I don't know about now, but
I know a little bit more now. Let's say that.
Ethan now knows what a sounding rod is.
Don't remind me. Oh, I actually know someone who, a friend of mine, they've used two friends of mine who have used sounding rods, and I'm just like,
hey, like, I'm not going to yuck their yum, but
no, I'm not yucking it. I'm cringing because it sounds so painful. It just sounds like, okay, what's it called when you have to go to the doctor and they have to shove that camera?
Oh, a catheter. Oh, no, you're talking about, okay, so a catheter or a colonoscopy is when it goes.
Not a colonoscopy. It's the one. No, I thought a catheter is for peeing.
I thought a catheter. I don't know. I don't want to make everyone freak out.
Either way, it's this thick
prostate exam, because Secular Rarity says with the thinking face. Also, I want to shout out that Neil, the 604 atheist, is here, and I just adore that human being so much.
He's a great guy.
How are you now? Oh my gosh. And okay, so we also had Dr. Del Rey on a couple times.
Yes,
fabulous human being, so interesting.
So smart.
Both have had the pleasure of going to the excursions, recovering from religion excursions that he would be hosting, and
that was a blast.
Fabulous, and his talks are always so fun and informative, but also so funny because he's just a funny dude.
He is. He's so laid back and so goofy and funny, but also, like I said, very intelligent.
It's wonderful to meet someone in that, I guess, age demographic that is so sex positive.
It's rare.
And I mean, reminds me of my mother, because we had my mother on, and that was kind of how she raised me, is that it wasn't off limits to ask these kinds of questions and talk about feelings in our bodies. And, you know, one of my favorite things that she had said on the show, I mean, she told me my whole life, but she shared this with you and all of the viewers, is that you don't call an elbow a fiddly fork, so you call it an elbow, so you should call your genitals what they're called. But okay, I believe we had Dr. Ben on at some point.
We did. We covered STDs.
Yes, that was very informative and fabulous.
Okay, that brings me to. Oh, sorry. Did you have something to say?
No, I was bringing this up so we could reflect.
So yes, reflecting on that, I had a disagreement with not a bad one by any means, with a swingers couple I know who they don't believe in using protection at all, unless someone directly tells them they have an STD. Otherwise, they trust people at their word. To give an example, one of the people I know, he had sex with 3 women in one night and didn't use protection with any of them. Now, to me, this is where our disagreement came in. To me, that is just outlandish. Like, I'm paranoid, and so is my girlfriend. Like, there's no exceptions. We always wear protection with other people. So, what are your thoughts on this? Because to me, the way they're wording it, they said, one, if people are on PrEP, which lowers the risk of contracting HIV, it's okay. And then there's another one. I can't remember the name of it. I know Dr. Ben would know it, but it lowers the risk of like chlamydia, gonorrhea, and things like that. So they're saying it's not a big deal if you're on those. What do you think about that? You look like you're looking at something, though.
No, I'm smirking because we have a commenter. Philip says, "Logic, you can't catch an STD if you already have it." That made me giggle. As someone who doesn't participate in the swingers community, I can't really speak on that, to be honest. I don't really know. I mean, what people like do with their own bodies is like their business. But I mean, I'm of the mindset that I want to protect my health. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's like one of those things where like I'd have to think about it because it's not something that I've like had to face myself with. Like, of course, I have like my own rules for people that like I'm seeing, and depending on like what stage of the relationship we're in. So yeah, I don't really know how to speak on that, to be completely honest.
So, are you monogamous, monogamish, or ethical monogamous?
Wait. You mean ethical non-monogamous? No, I know. No, I'm completely monogamous. I'm completely monogamous with my partner, and that's and yeah, I've had different like not phases in my life, but like I've explored lots of different types of relationships in my life and have landed on that this is the kind of relationship that works for me. And
that's good.
Yeah. And for him too. I early in the relationship, oh gosh, I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this, but I kind of just was gauging where he was at with his mindset of things, and I was just like, hey, so some people are in open relationships, how do you think of that? He was just like, is that something you want? Because I really am not comfortable with that. And I was like, no, I'm glad we're clear. You said your part, and that's what I was going into the relationship looking for. And so yeah, that I had come to this point in my life where I was like, no, that's what I need. That's what works for me. And so while I was in the dating stages of that, he was just like, is that something you're looking for? Because I'm really not okay with that. And I was like, no, honestly, like your reaction to my question couldn't have been more perfect. No ifs, ands, or buts. There is no wiggle room with that. And I'm perfectly happy with that.
That's good. I'm happy for you.
I've also accepted the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into my heart. I'm kidding. I just wanted to. No, but I mean, no, it's so interesting. So much of my, I don't know. It's interesting when we started this show. I feel like you and I were here, and now that we've done the show, and it's been a while since we've done the show, you and I have kind of gone like this in a way.
Oh, like crisscross, gone different directions is what you're saying.
Yeah, like you started on this side of the spectrum and I was on this side of the spectrum, and we kind of like switched places in a way. I mean, I know
That's
you came
so
from like a very
true.
like conservative background, but like I would say that I've become I don't even like seeing the word conservative, but like in terms of what like my relationship looks like just like structure wise, it's like pretty traditional.
Okay.
Yeah,
And there's
I
nothing
wouldn't
wrong
say
with
it's
that.
conservative, but I would say traditional is probably the right way to say it. Like I don't even want anyone to think that I'm like saying like I'm a trad wife now because like fuck no. No, but like it's just that's what works for me, and it's just interesting because I mean the person you met at the beginning was like I don't know. I mean, I still like have the same opinions about a lot of things. It's just I
Mhm.
think I was in a place where I was like figuring myself out and stuff. And so it's just like really interesting to see where we've landed because I know you were in a completely different place at the beginning of
Oh,
when I met
absolutely.
you.
I was very monogamous. I would have never in a million years contemplated having a swinging relationship at all. So yeah, we did. That's an excellent point. We totally switched sides. Now, like if my girlfriend and I ever split, dating would be harder for me now than it ever has been in my entire life.
Wow.
And not because I think I've become like for instance, like you know me, sometimes in person I get a little socially awkward. I've gotten past that. Like I am now
Wow.
much more confident when I speak, when I'm at parties, talking to new people. I'm just I'm all over the place. Like I've gained, even though I've lost my confidence in other areas, like my weight gain, in other areas with like talking to people, I can blab on forever now. Someone gave me some great advice. They said, you can always talk on your podcasts. So, what I want you to do is anytime you're talking to someone, pretend you're on your podcast and interview them like you're doing a show. And that was the best advice I was given because
That's
after
fabulous
that,
advice.
it is. After that, I won't shut the fuck up. I know how to get people talking about themselves or just talking about everything. And like, I think which annoys some people, and I'm not going to mention names, is I'm really good at getting people to talk in person about politics and religion. Like I now like
Oh wow.
yeah, there are swingers that regularly message me or comment on posts like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Because this is what I was thinking. Like, people come to me for this now and they feel safe talking to me and they feel good talking to me because I never try and shit on people's beliefs. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I was gonna say you've never been that way. You've never been that way since I've met you. 'Cause
before we met, I was
I've
an
seen some of
angry atheist.
and then before that, I've seen some of when you okay, Ethan has he's very good at taking accountability for himself. I would
Well,
say
thank you.
that you see because you used to be like very conservative, very Christian,
Mhm.
very so far from like the way you were now, and you see old cringy posts that you posted during that time and you will repost them and be like, look at this asshole. And hey, that's growth.
Thank you.
Yeah, of
I
course.
I try. I try to shine a light on not just myself, but problems in the world. I don't want to hide things. Like I know a lot of people are so quick to like, oh, I gotta delete my old tweet. No, no, you don't. Take ownership of it. Show your growth. Say
Yeah.
the mistakes you made.
Yeah. No, I think like just taking ownership and like reflecting on choices we've made. I mean, that's just kind of like the beautiful part of existing is and being a human. I mean, it's awkward and it's uncomfortable a lot of times and it's can be like really ugly, but I mean, that's part of life where you don't
Mhm.
come into this world. I mean, some people would argue that, we come into this world perfect and untainted and then the world ruins us, but okay, whatever. Is that we aren't just like brought into this world, we're born, and then we just know the answer to everything and know how to behave
Right.
perfectly and know how to get through this life without hurting ourselves and others. Like, it takes practice, and hopefully
Absolutely.
we can get through life with doing it the least amount of damage as possible. But that's part of being human, is learning and growing, and that's great.
Mhm. So I want to play a video. It's something that was already played on our channel a few years back, but
Okay.
since we are reflecting, I think now, especially with it being the last episode, is the best time as ever to play it again.
Okay.
And it was the
I'm
first
scared. What is it?
time I ever got to meet you in person.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm going to meet Hannah right now. How you doing?
Wait, we're in the street.
I saw you guys running. I had to dart over here.
Oh my God. That was such a wonderful day.
It was. And I remember seeing you walk around the corner after I got out of the car, and I was like, oh my God, it's Hannah. And I almost screamed your name, and I was like, no, I'm going to scare the shit out of her.
And you did, because I felt the presence of a man next to me, and I thought, oh God, because I'm walking down the street and like downtown Austin. So I'm like, okay, a man is walking very close to me right now. I need to do like a quick, all right, how close is he? And is he realizing that he's close to me? And I'm like, oh my God, it's literally Ethan. Oh, that was so beautiful.
It was. It was so great meeting you in person.
It was wonderful. And that's just the wonderfulness, the power of the internet. It brings people together. And then, we got to meet in person. We got to meet a meet in person. And so
I
many,
like that. We got to meet in person.
yes. And so many people that I've met through this community who are my friends to this day, who I met years ago online or at a conference, because of this show or another, weekly live show. It's really phenomenal. It's exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad that this show is coming to an end. But we had to at least do one last episode.
I know. I didn't want to just leave it off the way we did without ever acknowledging it. We have to wrap it up. I mean, all good things must come to an end, I guess. But let's see. I wanted to do a quick shout out. Do you remember Gwen from Nude Radio, the nudist we had on?
Oh, yes, I do. That was a while ago. That was like a long time ago.
We did the show a while ago.
That's the one we met at the Recovering from Religion retreat, right?
Yes, we met her at the excursion. And we also had on Shayna Chow, who was a dating coach. That was
I remember that.
That was one of our first guests, and she was super interesting, super cool to talk to. I was like, I know that some people I would like not set her up with dating wise, but like set her up like they could use her services.
Dude, so as a result of her, I got some bad feedback on Facebook. So, and I can see why, because it was not really presented the best. But what I did was I wrote down all her dating tips, and then I made a Facebook post and just said, here's some dating tips for women. And I listed them all, and immediately exactly.
Hey, women, this is what you should be doing, by the way. Let me tell you
what I did. And I was like, and several people called me on it, and I was like, fuck, I thought I was being innocent and just trying to help people out, but I didn't really think it through. So I got so much fucking bad feedback, and I was like, okay, taking this shit down now.
First tip, how dare you?
Yeah, exactly.
God. You're like, this is from actually a woman that I had on my show, and I just thought it'd be great to share. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. It's the ADHD. It's that impulse. Like, yeah, she gave great advice. I'm going to share it
with everyone.
Not thinking it looks like a man telling a woman what they're supposed to be doing. Like,
oh my God.
The optics on it were terrible.
Well, you see why it pissed a bunch of people off. You
Yes.
understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever. No harm, no foul. That's super funny though. Oh, and that reminded me of something I was gonna say.
Oh, speaking of which, for those who don't know, Hannah is a really good singer. She has that just reminded me of it. She has a great voice and can sing really well.
I'm in 2 bands now, by the way. Here we're
What? I'm jealous.
Speaking
What type
of
of bands?
Thank you for the compliment. My first band, Ethereal Fire, we are we do rock. We do like rock and metal, classic metal, new metal.
Wait, can you scream?
I don't know. I don't know if I can. Should I? Or can I? I don't know. Those are 2 different questions. So but we were just we do covers, and both of these bands are like just locally based, like we play at bars and stuff. And then the other one is called The Rockers. We're a variety band that does funk, pop, rock, reggae, ska, whatever. We do like everything.
Ooh, reggae.
Who is that? Ooh, I know who that is. Hi, Eve.
I don't know who it is.
I know who that is, and they are also a fabulous singer. But thank you for the compliment. I had to plug those really quick because that's something else. Since we were talking about what I've been up to here in Mexico, that's part of it. But I want to ask you what you've been up to, because you told me that you have gotten back into posting and live streaming. And what are your plans? What are you up to? Where do you see this going? Are you just kind of dipping your toe back into it? Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I still got to, if you noticed, sorry about the dirty ledge. I got to do some cleaning. I have this set up in the basement.
I didn't even notice until you pointed it out.
Someone pointed it out to me and sent me a screenshot and circled it and said, please clean your ledge. I was like, okay, I'm going to fix that. Yes. All right. I'm sorry. Eventually I'm working on it. Unfortunately, my second monitor just broke. My keyboard broke. Because of where I moved in with my girlfriend, but from where my soundboards were at before, the cats loved clawing at them. So they ripped a shit ton of soundboards off my not wood planks, whatever they are, these wood things. So I have to redo all the soundboards. Then I have to get them mounted to the wall. Then, because the entire house is wood floor, there is a tremendous amount of echo. So I have to get one of those. I don't know the name of it, but it's like a sounding program where it shows you the ideal places in your room to put soundboards on to minimize echo.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So it already says a carpet. Yes, I think that would be probably useful. You should put it.
Yeah, so I gotta work on that. I've got a few more streams lined up. I think I got 4 or 5. There's a few more people I reached out to. In terms of bringing the perspective back, I don't know. That show required an infinite amount of work. And just to give people kind of details on what I had to do, because my channel's not as large as other channels like AXP Talk Heathen, I didn't have regular people just waiting to call in. So what I did is I joined all of these supernatural groups, religious groups, paranormal groups, supernatural groups, Mothman groups, shit. What's the big ape looking thing called?
Bigfoot?
Bigfoot. Thank you. I couldn't think of I couldn't think of it. Bigfoot groups. So what I would do is each week I would make a post and say, hey, do you believe in such and such? If so, are you willing to call into my podcast? And then, like, if they were interested, I would message them the details. I'd give them the phone number. I'd give them a heads up, like, just so you know, you will be challenged. This is not just you telling your story. It will be a back and forth conversation.
We're going to ask you why and ask you to back it up, and then you offer our perspective. Yeah, no, but I love what I loved about the perspective is you know, there's been other shows that are not like this, but it was always, this is oh my gosh, can you tell that I'm so rusty at this? I'm
No,
like
you're
lost.
doing pretty
I've
good.
got brain rot for the past 2 years. Okay. Friendly neighborhood atheist. You are that for a reason. And the perspective is always very respectful and I would say fair in its
Thank you.
when you get callers like that. And that's something that I really appreciated about your show.
Yeah, and I was picky about who I had on. There were several larger atheist YouTubers who wanted to be on my show or reached out and said, "Can I be on?" And I didn't say no. I just said, "Yeah, you know, we'll see if schedules line up. I'll let you know." I kind of like I like being honest, but I don't want to hurt someone's feelings either. And I don't care how big
diplomatic.
Right. But I don't care how big your channel is. If you are an asshole, you're not coming on my show. It's that simple. It's called Your Friendly Neighborhood Atheist, just as Hannah said. And the perspective, just like the pickup line, these two shows were like my baby. The perspective was because to me, and how do I say this without sounding, I'm not trying to sound conceited here, but it was a show that had a lot that all these other call-in shows didn't. Because
that's what set you apart, I would say, in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when you'd call into these other shows, every single caller was just talking about God. When you called into my show, 1 minute you're getting ghosts, the next call you're getting aliens, the next call you're getting religion, or this reminds me of this one time, the guy that believed the earth was flat and it was surrounded by a giant snake that ate atheists. Do you remember that?
No, was he joking?
No, he was dead serious.
He was dead ass.
He would join our Discord afterwards, and people would get really frustrated with me and wanted me to boot him because of like his extreme beliefs.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, you've always been curious and you've always welcomed these kinds of conversations. That's something I admire about you. You have you have the patience of a saint.
Not always. I can be an asshole.
You have your limits. You have your limits.
Yes, we all have our limits. That's for sure. Oh no, ADHD just kicked in and I forgot what I was going to say.
That happened to me earlier, but we'll circle back. That's okay. Let's see. I think, hey, what's your favorite takeaway from the pickup line? What is like your, I don't know. I guess you can give me a couple.
Like what I learned from it, or like,
if that's what's your favorite, like I don't know. I guess we kind of like talked about this already. It's in my notes. Okay, it was like, what's like the thing that you're like proud of that you accomplished or that you gained from this?
You.
Shut up!
I'm dead serious, dude.
Oh,
this show
my baby
would not have. No one else can do what you can do. No one else has the chemistry we have. The best decision I ever made for my channel was you reaching out to me and me saying, let's do this show together.
Thank you so much for saying that. It makes my heart warm. Makes my heart
and
warm.
It makes me sad that like we can't do it anymore. But you were the best decision I ever made on my channel.
If you ever need a co-host for anything or need someone to just come onto your channel and yap, you know I'm your gal.
Okay, I will. I'm glad you're willing to do that and come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just interesting how life just takes us in directions and we find our way back sometimes and we waxes and wanes. And I also want to remind you that like what an impact, I mean, you know what an impact that you have made and this show has made for people. I like, this is not me trying to like fucking toot my own horn and stuff, but I've received messages regarding the pickup line and regarding Your Friendly Neighborhood Atheist and people saying how it's helped them. And so just thank you for allowing me to come onto this platform and just like run my non-qualified mouth, and it's turned into some beautiful stuff. And hopefully, I don't know, I really look forward to seeing whatever you do next, because I know it'll be great.
Well, thank you. But don't be hard on yourself. I'm not qualified for shit. So wow, it's already been an hour. It's like the end of an era.
An end of an era. But onward and upward to just new things. You know? Yeah. And this was super duper fun. Again, I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me. Thank you for choosing me.
Of course. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Well, don't be a stranger. Don't disappear. We all love you. This community loves you. You are so important and valued. And
thank you, Hannah.
Yeah,
but
like I said,
love you too.
Thanks. I might be around. I might start Twitch streaming again. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said people have reached out to me about you too. So don't sell yourself. No, I've had plenty of people reach out to me about you and how awesome you are.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. It just really means a lot. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah,
I think I might start Twitch streaming soon. So I was doing that for a little bit, and then got bored of doing it. I don't know. I took a break and then forgot to do it again. So I've thought about that. So if y'all want to find me, I'm Hannah Von Fancy, or just Von Fancy everywhere. Ew, one final plug. That's weird.
No, it's not weird. Do it.
So feel free to just like follow me on the stuff if you want to see what I've been up to. I'm kind of just been quiet on social media just because I don't know. It's just like not a priority anymore. But no, I think I might start just like video game streaming again, and maybe I'll kind of like talk about relationship stuff while I play video games.
You should. Will you please get a Nintendo online membership again so we can play Smash Brothers?
Bitch, I'm broke. Okay. But when I'm not, I will, because I love that game and I love you.
I love you too, Hannah. I think that's the first time we ever said that to each other.
No, it's absolutely
not.
Is. When I love somebody, I fucking tell them.
Okay, then maybe it's the first time I've said it to you.
It might have been the first time we've said it on air to each other.
There we go. Yeah, that's true.
Ethan Michael, I love you. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for being here. It's been a wild ride. And holy shit.
It's over. But thank you to the patrons. Thank you to everyone in the comments. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, SR. Thank you, Best Name Ever. Thank you, Titan Uranus. Thank you, Neil the 604 Atheist. There's plenty of people I haven't thanked, but thank you to all of you who have showed support. Hannah, don't hang up yet. I'm going to play our outro.
All right.
I'm really sad.
One more time for old sakes. Run the intro or the outro.
All right, here we go.
I was trying to time it.
All right, good night, everybody.
Bye.